Yeah, we are live.
Hi.
Let me quickly check.
Yeah, it's coming on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah, we have six people. Ten. Uh, all right. Yeah. Yeah, live. So, good evening, everyone. You're watching OT Security Huddle, and my name is Shiv. I have been joined with my friend Manjunath, who are regular for the OT Security Huddle. And today's session is specifically catered out to discuss about how did we started our OT security career, what was our journey, and we have been getting lots of requests and questions through different forums, either it's WhatsApp groups that we have formed or the LinkedIn direct messages. So we thought that on this special day, which is all of the India is celebrating today, so we thought we'll keep a special session to discuss our questions with the people who are interested to get into OT security. We will also be discussing how we started, what are the challenges that we faced in the OT security, what are the things that were advantages for us to get into this career, what do we see moving forward this OT security career will look like, because everywhere you might be hearing about the recession or maybe a downturn that is coming in the economy, and people are worried about different careers that they might be currently working. So we'll be briefly touching on that area. So welcome again, everyone, and I'll just hand over to Manju. Just quickly say hi, and then we'll start.
Sure, sure. Sure. Thanks for arranging this quick session. I was also getting too many, calls or requests that how to, formulate their career in OT security, and I think this is the best way to, best time to have good this special session. So definitely, we will share our thoughts and how we started our career, and what are the challenges that we are facing, and also how about the future of this OT security if there's somebody wants to move from IT to OT security or OT to OT security. So yeah, definitely we will throw some light on this. Yeah, thank you, and maybe we can start.
Yeah. All right, then. Thanks, Manju. I'll quickly give an introduction of myself once again, though people know about me. But this is 16th year of my career now, and I started my career in cybersecurity itself. In 2009, I joined the organization called National Technical Research Organization. It's a organization under the Prime Minister's office, and it works on various sections of technical research. And luckily, when I got recruited, the first department that I got was cyber over there. And that's where my first experience with cybersecurity formally. And the good thing about these government departments when you work, you get to work on the niche topics which are not generally accessible to the private organizations or somebody who is working as a freelancer. You'll get a free pass to explore the different areas of cybersecurity as such. So that's the good thing that happened. We got access to different kind of research areas. Maybe it's something related to the deep web or dark web, or maybe related to offensive security, defensive security, network security, cryptography. All those areas we have been working. Then in 2014, under the same organization NTRO, a new body was formed. Formally, it's called NCIAPC, and it's a de facto authority for India's critical information infrastructure protection. Though the body was internally working for even 2 years before 2014, but it's an internal body, maybe engaged with a few of the organization. Even a big conference was organized in 2013 itself by NCIPC, where all the CISOs were invited. But yeah, formally started in 2014, and initially there were six sectors that were identified in India. So before this 2014, I was working on various topics of cybersecurity. So it gave me good understanding of those different areas. What could be different areas that you could explore as a cybersecurity researcher. And typically, when you see on the internet, the most publicized and uh, lucrative career that is shown to people is ethical hacking. But it's just one part of cybersecurity. And if you learn ethical hacking, it's a good thing. It's a good starting point. But there are n number of areas which are more beneficial for a professional to get into cybersecurity. Let's say the cybersecurity architect, which is definitely giving you more. reputation, more uh, return on the investment that you will do understanding the architectures. But yeah, coming back to the NCIPC, I started in 2014. Until the year I resigned from NCIPC in 2019, I was working with NCIPC itself. There, I worked on a number of topics, whether it's a cyber range or maybe vulnerability assessment penetration testing. You might see something called as Responsible Vulnerability Disclosure Program by NCIPC, where anybody who is a cybersecurity researcher, they can find some vulnerabilities on government websites and they can publish. And they, as a reward, what they get is their name is published in NCIPC newsletter. So when I was in NCIPC, I was basically looking into this program as well. And then we worked with different sectors of critical infrastructures. I started with banking sector first. Then I worked with power sector also, the transportation sector, the strategic and public enterprise like DRDO, ISRO, all those organizations I did work for. And the good thing about NCIPC kind of organization is you get to interact with the people who are responsible for cybersecurity in these organizations. And typically, the role of the organization is to give advisories. And to give advisories, you need to do your homework, understand what this organization is doing, what kind of infrastructure they might have, and what would be the security needs of the organization. So that's where I get to know about different architectures, different sectors, and it gave me huge exposure, starting from the typical IT environment of banking sector, which is highly advanced, to the typical OT environment in power sector. We conducted a number of surveys for these organizations, and I was part of different assessments as well. So it gave me understanding of both the sides, that how do you design the overall cybersecurity program for a critical infrastructure, and also how do you assess that program whether it is working well or not. And we have custom built some assessment criterias mixing up from different standards for the organization during those days. So that gave me understanding of different standards as well. So during that time, I also got the opportunity to train from best of the people. There was one training that was conducted by that organizations on cryptography, and it was basically delivered by the best faculties in India. So I learned good cryptography there. I learned good SCADA from some faculties from CDAC. I learned some malware reverse engineering from CDAC, and there were a bunch of people on parallel computing, ethical hacking. Then there was one risk assessment training which I got from some external agencies. I also done my ISMS lead auditor certification. So these were the good thing about NCIPC, and that gave me a good interest in the subject as well. And then I moved to Siemens. So whole of this learning which was there from the IT sector, from the OT sector, it completely got organized. Because when I was in NCIPC, the missing link which was there, even though you'll interact with the CISOs of different entities, even though you'll work on their architectures and give them the advisories, you will not be close to the real machinery as such. And when I moved to Siemens, which is a core OT company, it gave me that opportunity to go to the plants and then see the real environment, what is missing there. So the complete learning of cybersecurity, it got organized, and I was able to relate, okay, what I was working till the date, it is basically able to understand in different terms which are there. One another thing which actually helped me during getting into the OT security is my family background. So I typically come from a business background, and my father owns ice plant, which is still functioning. And since my childhood itself, I was seeing how the machines work. So I was able to relate, okay, if this one particular wall goes malfunctioning, then there may be leakage of ammonia if I give in the terms of ice plant. And ammonia is a hazardous gas which might cause issue to the health of the people who are working. So that's the thing, and then the pre-context of understanding these different terms, relating them to real life scenarios, understanding the security thing, and then giving the best risk assessment for the customers I work with. Yeah, so that's all about my journey in a quick way. Academic wise, I had done my graduation in electronics and communication in 2007. And after that, when I was in Mumbai working for NTRO, then I had done a part-time course on digital and cyber forensics and public laws as well. So a little bit of understanding of the IT Act, Recently, I'm working on pursuing this master's program from Triple IT Kottayam just to get academically a bit more advanced than what I was. So sometimes I feel that I should get into this master's degree and maybe later on get into the PhD as well. Yeah, so that's all about me. I typically come from the research background, so that is my mindset. 10 years in NTR, completely a research oriented, and now in Siemens also working for the research entity. Yeah,
Sure.
now I'll hand over to you, Manju. Maybe a
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, before jumping, I would like to, yeah, thanks for sharing your, journey to from IT to OT security. Only thing is, would you like to add about your certification journey so that I can
Yes,
start? Yeah,
yeah, definitely, Manju. Yeah, so uh, my certification journey as such started when I joined Siemens, and before that, I got opportunity to learn from best of the faculties, but the certification was not there. Typically, that's the environment in government entities. They generally don't go for certification; they go for skill enhancement. But yeah, the first certification, and that's how it is started. I was writing my resume for somebody, and then it asked, "What certification do you hold?" And there was none apart from ISMSL. So I immediately went for CEH in 2020, and then I had done my IEC 62443 first two certification. And when I did in 2020, ISA Bangalore had organized the first batch for India with the Indian rates, and the faculty actually flew into India. It was just before the COVID. We had the fun of getting it done in the classroom, so that was good interaction. And then the connections that I made during the trainings, I still hold those connections to uh, my connection list. That was good thing. And the second batch of the certification could not be done due to the COVID thing. And as soon as they have started doing these two certification of 62443 virtually, I registered for the batch. Before COVID, these two certification used to be done in a classroom only. Because there is a kit involved, and they will give you the kit, and you need to assemble, deassemble, do the incident response. So I had done my 62443 certification. Immediately after that, it was just like 1 month after completing the 62443, I had appeared for CISSP, which I was pushing since last 10 years, since first I got to know in 2011 itself. And this year I had completed this SENS certification, which is for incident response in industrial control system. It's called GRID. And the course associated for this is ICS 515. It's an advanced course. Yeah, so those are the certification that I'm currently holding.
yeah, thanks, Shiv, for sharing your that journey. Yeah, definitely, it helps our audience today that how someone can from the started his career from IT to the OT security, which is really a challenging one that I feel. But since you had that passion about OT security, and also you have seen the machines from your childhood, that also helped you. Maybe once I did do my introduction about my journey, then maybe I will ask you a few questions. Definitely, it might help the audience. So coming to my journey, I did my engineering in BE in instrumentation technology. Then I got a campus interview there, and in Yokogawa I started my career with Yokogawa. So there, I worked as an industrial automation engineer. The good thing about Yokogawa is, you can learn if you have the passion and if you show the enthusiasm, then definitely you will get a lot of opportunities. So you will not be, only stick to one particular role. You will be asked to do everything, right? So I mean, whether if you are really interested in developing applications for the the logic development and for the PLCs or DCS, or let us say you have to write a batch programming language. So if you show that interest, people are there to support you. That is what I got, because as a fresh graduate, so I was really curious about, even though I did learn about instrumentation, but we never thought that okay, I will work for instrumentation company. It was a core OT company, and then when we entered the company, so that culture and also the that enthusiasm, it has created built some kind of curiosity in how these things works. So how I started with Yokogawa is, initially started with getting into the application engineer, and I used to develop a lot of application programmings, building a DCS programming for this very big plant. So most of my career I worked for petrochemical and oil and gas and even power sectors, even sometimes in marine sector as well. But Yokogawa has had provided me a lot of opportunities in terms of software, even the hardware. So what I used to do is I used to write, like I was very curious. Coming back to engineering, I was very studious, and people used to call me uh, some kind of I never enjoyed that. I mean, when you say you are an engineering graduate, so I was very studious. I just read. That's it. So when I got into the corporate world, even there, that got continued. But I made good connection there, the friends, and then we went for outing and those kind of enjoyment. Even we did that. But even as part of my work, I used to go for commissioning along with my bunch of friends and colleagues, where that is where the real challenges that we faced, because in reality you will be uh, you know you will be faced, whatever you develop the logic, and it will be tested in the factory environment. Then you will go and commission those whatever you have done this. And then that is where I learned that, okay, this is much more challenging than what we thought. I mean, as a fresh graduate, you can think, right? I mean, uh, so I used to draw on a paper. So I had that habit of writing too many things. People used to take my notes and refer during the commissioning, so I was feeling very happy about it. But later, as the experience goes, so you have everything registered in your mind. So that is how I started my career in OT. Basically, I set the strong foundation related to the operational technology. I mean, industrial control system, be it a hardware or software. Then at the end of my third year in Yokogawa, so I jumped to the ABB. There, I joined as a hardware engineer, where my job was to design the panels. I mean, hope you might have seen this server rack rooms where all the big servers, and for this, I used to do hardware design for this, including electrical, all this, and including the architecture what we are seeing now, Purdue architecture. So I got there, I was very curious about networking components. I mean, how it works and how it the traffic flows between different levels. At that time, that point of time, even though I was a hardware engineer, I used to go and interact with the people who are in the network domain. So these people used to take care of this networking. And then in my entire career, I did a lot of commissioning activities. I mean, I went to the field. We did a lot of activities, including starting from erection, and then go and install the panels, and even change the program on a live environment. So this is how we started. And in 2014, I got an opportunity to working in one of the prestigious project in Saudi Arabia. It's Sadara project. So that is where I stayed for almost 4 years, where starting from erection until commissioning and maintenance as well. So this is how I got the opportunity in the OT. So when it comes to the where I made the shift, means since I was very curious about these networking concepts specifically. So then I was very really interested in this field. Then there were much attacks were happening on the cyber attacks in Saudi Arabia. So that is where it struck my mind that how did it happen, and what was the reason how people can attack. So this made me curious to learn about more about cyber security. So I approached many people there. Then I started looking at and how I can leverage my existing experience to grab that opportunity. I mean, to learn. So there are many people that you know that supported me throughout my career. Even what I suggest is to people who are in this call, or whoever is who wants to shift from OT to OT security. It's not that difficult, but only thing is you should have an open mind to learn, and also leverage the existing skill set. I mean, obviously you might be knowing how to program a DCS or how to design a panel. Even how the Purdue architecture works. So if you know everything, and then it will be easier for you. And then from there, almost I worked till 2018. then I 2019. Then I joined back to Yokogawa, and then again worked as a DCS lead engineer there. Uh, but that is where I started this IoT certification because I was really curious about IoT. Uh, then I did some course micro learning program from Curtin University about how this, because that time the industry 4 initiative was just started. And then regarding cybersecurity, people helped me like Shiv and Prashant. They helped me a lot, and also one of my friends in ABB, he pushed me a lot that okay, this is will be the future. That if you are from OT background and if you have the cybersecurity knowledge, and that is like a very good package for in the industry, because not many people are there in the industry that who knows OT with cybersecurity. Actually, that changed my mind that okay, because initially I was thinking okay, I need to learn about IoT as well. Cybersecurity in parallel. So this journey from OT to OT security started way back in 2015 because I learned about I attended CCNA courses about network security as well, and then CH. Even though I did not finish the certification, but I got to know about how it works. And then in 2019 to 21, then I got the opportunity to work as a product security analyst in GE, where my work was to basically about the getting the certification for our components. That is where I got the practical aspects of IEC 62443. At that point of time, I had completed this certification, this fundamentals and risk assessment. Later I finished all the four once I joined GA, and also got an opportunity to practically expose that how 62443 can be adopted to the different audiences like end users and even OEMs, how it. So that gave me strong foundation. And recently I joined a company Defentos as a senior OT security consultant. That is where I do a lot of risk assessment, gap assessment, also provide some trainings. uh, so yeah, regarding the certification, I have recently completed GICSP, and I've shared my thoughts about it, and also people helped me a lot. I mean, that is the best thing about learning. I mean, you should consult professionals, and also make good connections on LinkedIn or wherever possible, because there when people share their experience, it really helped even me as well. Even though I can call Shiv as my mentor, and we have started this mentorship, but at many times since he has more exposure, and he was instrumental in creating some of the NCIP guidelines, and he knows how to regarding policies and procedures. So yeah, really these connections that really helped. That is what I would like to add. Yeah, that's it from my side. Yeah, Shiv, would you like to add few, interesting things that about your career where you face the challenge, or I know is, I mean, from see, I think it's the best example that we have taken today. Since you had that IT background and you moved to IT from OT security, from IT to OT, and I moved from OT to OT security. I think that will be the best combination that we can have it today. And also, you can tell people that what was your challenge that when you wanted to make that shift, and what people should learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Manju, first of all, thank you for giving that introduction, and then also the quick mention that you made about me. It's quite humbling. I'm happy that I was able to give some contribution to your growth. Yeah, so one big challenge that I faced initially is how do I correlate my understanding of IT security into OT security? And it is everywhere when you see the first thing that people will tell is the difference in IT security and OT security is the CIA triad. The CIA does not work, it works with AIC. And though it's true that you have the mindset of saving your assets first in OT, and that's not the eminent threat in IT. But when you are as an assessor, as an implementer, when you are there in the field, what are the key points that you should be focused to either when you're architecting architect or when you're playing the role of assessor, you should focus on so that this gives the perspective of the real threat perceptions or risk perception to the people. And with this mindset, I went through a good number of literatures and their understanding from different use cases, and it gave me the connection between my initial experience with the machines to the security risk versus the safety risk. And this was the key success factor on the assessment that I had done. It was I was able to call out the key risk areas. Like one of the assessments when I was doing, I asked, there was a paint shop being built. It was a very basic question that I asked them that, okay, you're putting a paint shop. Did you consider your HAZOP to be done before the paint shop being installed? And to the surprise, even none of the people or the security people in the organization, they are aware about this very small thing that since it's a hazardous environment, you should do a HAZOP once and the process hazard analysis once. So that's one thing that I had felt. And second thing is the proximity to machines is very important. People will say that, okay, I understand the OT environment, but you don't understand how the PLC programming is being done and what are the areas that somebody can actually exploit. What are the mitigation measures that you can actually implement there is the key missing area that would be challenging for the people who want to come from the IT security, OT security. Lots of literature that is already available on IT, but OT, the literature is not available. That's where people will stuck. And the reason I joined ISC in 2019 itself is just to fill that gap. And even today, if you search on the internet, most of the information about the control system is coming from ISA as such. But now it is since last 1.5 years, thanks to the people like you and who are putting lots of compilation of the literature. And then there are some good n number of books that are available on OT security so that people can actually fill the knowledge gap which is there. But real experience is more important. And recently I came across some research papers, and with the research paper, the good thing is they had put up some simulated environment, and you can actually experience that simulated environment if you are not getting extra exposure to the real PLCs. So that's where people can fill, and that's very important. If you are not connected to the machine, you will not be able to understand the threats as such. Yeah, so that's what about my challenges. But since you came from the OT background, and when I go to the assessments and when I speak with the people, initially they will be so inhibitive in discussing that, okay, we don't want to discuss the security. Our plant is functioning well, don't give us the lecture of security. Tomorrow you will then recommending to put something on the internet and the network, and then it will again increase the threats. But at the end of these discussions, when we give them the awareness session, almost 100% of the time I'll get the good feedback that, okay, they are not even aware of these kind of security risks. So connecting back to what your experience was, since you were in the OT side of the world and then you moved to OT security side of world, how challenging it was for you to get into this and then convincing the people who are there.
Yeah, exactly. And as you rightly said, the creating awareness is one of the important point here. I mean, what I am observing from past 6 months to 1 year, that even the end users are really taking that interest to teach the cybersecurity aspects of on the OT domain for everyone, all the stakeholders. It's not only about control system engineer, even operators, maintenance engineers, everybody. So I think that kind of environment, I totally agree with you. When we go and visit for the first time, even as a instrumentation, as a control system engineer, initially when people used to talk about security, I was not given giving much attention. That is because mainly the purpose was to run the business. I mean the operations. The operate for operations team, for their 24/7, the operation should go smooth, and because it will have the chain reaction. I mean, if something goes wrong, then they will their production will halt, and then ultimately it will result in the uh, definitely the financial impact will be there. Yeah, for them, when we need to consider all these such aspects. But where I found it very useful, that whenever we on a live environment, whenever we try to change something, right? Even when I was a hardware engineer, and when I was doing commissioning there, that is where even even if you want to touch the panel, you had to go through a lot of checklist. It is similar. Then it was easy to convince them, see, this is how you have to do, and what could be the impact. Ultimately it will result into the the ultimately the disturbance in the process, be it a cyber security or a physical, when you go and touch the running plant. So the same similar approach you have to take. But how can cyber attack happen even though it is a air gap system, my system is not connected to the internet? Such, these questions we will often hear from the end user side. But nowadays, because of the the historical incidents, we consolidate and tell them, and creating an awareness. So that is where I feel the people are changing their mind, and they are also feeling that why this OT security is important for their plant. I know it is a, it's not an easy task for any, that cultural shift should be there. I mean, change from, it should come from the top. If top management drives them, means all the stakeholders, I'm seeing a lot of much activities. But in terms of, if you ask me sector wise, based on my experience at oil and gas and petrochemical, I think they are in good position in terms of OT security. But uh, yeah, as you rightly said, the key is getting people to talk. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So when it comes to manufacturing, I think I'm not seeing much of a aggressive change in the OT security demand. But in terms of other area, I think people are going aggressively nowadays. Yeah, that is my experience, overall experience.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the one thing that why I have written this is the key is getting people to talk initially when you start approaching them. Uh, you should make sense when you are talking. You should understand the instrumentation part of the word well, and then when they will be able to understand your understanding of the system, they will be more open than your expectation. So the first assessment itself, when I had done, initially there are quite a bit of resistance in terms of talking about okay what kind of processes they are using. But when you give them the real insight, okay, you ask them the real question that makes sense to them, then they will be giving the bonus information that would be good for your assessment. And that's the key skill an assessor should use, is to make people on their side of the word so that they can talk and then you get the information. If they are not revealing anything, it becomes very difficult for the interviews that you do for the site assessments generally. And interviews are equally important when you are connecting your system to the network. The process part is not covered, and process are same level of criticality as your technology is, and more so in the OT world because they are there for quite some time, and the way they are functioning is because of the processes that has been defined. So if there are gap in the processes, you'll only get to know when people start talking. So yeah, that ice breaking is very important.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
very true. Yeah.
yes. So maybe we just quickly start taking the questions now.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of questions. Maybe I think whatever we wanted to
Yes,
convey, already people are putting questions.
yes, yes. Yeah, so this is the first question from Suman Mitra. I am
Yeah.
from OT field, experience in RTU, SCADA, and network architecture. Please elaborate how can I effectively switch to cybersecurity domain and what are the basic certification needed to be done? Yeah,
Yeah.
so you are very right fit for this, Manju. You should answer this.
Exactly. Hi, Suman. This is exactly my journey. So I would like to highlight that. So if you are already have some experience on RTU, SCADA, network architecture, I think you are in a good shape and easily you can move. The kind of, I mean, how you need to effectively switch is leverage your existing experience or existing company culture. Maybe you can go and talk to people who are already working in cybersecurity there or network security, and start learning about how they are managing, what are they managing. For example, firewall configuration or switch configuration, why are they doing it? I mean, first you should understand, and then you request them, okay, maybe for one plant I will do it, maybe if you have good connections. Or parallelly you can start learning towards cybersecurity and get the strong foundation of cybersecurity. Nowadays, there are a lot of courses available on available freely. Even regarding the the basic certification, if you are a beginner, I mean if you have some less than 5 years of experience, maybe you can go for CH or CompTIA Security Plus. That will give you a strong foundation about cyber security. But when it comes to the OT, cyber security certification, basically GICSP is there from SANS, but both ISA is 62443 and the SANS certifications are really costlier. But you can still take a challenge exam for GICSP, which I did it recently. So that is related to the certification. But the the good point is, if you have a strong OT background, if you have show that passion about OT security by learning the leverage the existing skill set, that is the best way to move from OT to OT security. That is what I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, very well summarized, Manju. We put another
Yeah,
question
maybe.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from Avia Perimency. How vulnerable are air-gapped OT systems? Yeah, so it is like the concept of security through obscurity is basically the assumption that when we don't expose our system or when we don't tell about our system, it is secure enough. But what about the insecurities or say the vulnerabilities which were there in the systems when it was designed and implemented? And also the vulnerabilities which are discovered after commissioning of the systems. You are not secure against that. And if you take the historical antecedents, starting from the Stuxnet, which is rarely to happen though, but then since the knowledge is already available freely now, that systems can be attacked in the air gap environments, there are n number of malwares that has been designed. The recent one being in 2023 itself, I'm not able to recall the name of the malware, but I recall the name of another malware which was either in 2020 or 2021. It's called the Ramsey malware, specifically designed for the air gap systems. Though the research did not brought out what was the mechanism to expel the data, but they are able to understand that it was specifically designed for air gap network. So just having the complacency that since my system is air gapped, I'm not going to get attacked is not sufficient. Do your risk assessment properly and then understand, even though you are air gapped, what are the risks, how you are mitigating them, and if something happens, what is your backup plan? All of these things are part of the cybersecurity programs, and you need to follow the entire um, people, process, technology cycle for understanding how secure your air gap systems are. But Manju, would you like to
Yes.
add something there?
Yes, definitely. These are the questions which often asked in the industry. That even when we go and discuss with customer, they will ask this question. My system is not connected to internet and everything is safe. But the thing is, most of the air gap system probably might be running with the either older Windows system or legacy systems which are outdated. I mean, there are no patches available. This is one of the biggest threat. Even though people cannot come from outside external world, let us say through internet, but there are always chances that insider threat is always there. And most of the time system hardening might not have been done, like someone come with a USB stick. We have seen in plant also, because of the quicker results, people will go and immediately insert the USB. Then what happens, maybe if the sanitization is done and if the unused USB port is open and even legitimately you put it, and if somehow the malware is getting to the system network, and it will damage the entire control system. That is one way of it is vulnerable. So that's why when we talk about OT security or any cyber security, the entire program should come into the effective. you know uh, like system hardening should be in place and proper security policies procedure. Someone cannot just go and plug in the USB stick. And also one more is like often we have seen that in a real plant, the operator used to write a password on their so there are no policy or
Yeah,
procedure saying that okay, you should not share the password. If someone comes, there's, let us say, a disgruntled employee or someone who is really want to take, or by even accidentally, those are the risks that we have. So this is what some of the vulnerability you can find it in the air gaps OT systems.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then there is a question from Shane Cardos, how a student gets start in OT security. Yeah, very good question, Shane. And I think both Manju and myself, we both have written a good write-up about starting your career in OT security. So there could be two different paths, as we mentioned. One is to understand the cyber security topic first, and then get into the OT security. The other one is to first understand the operational technology environment first, and then get into the cyber security. So if your graduation is into computers, you follow the first path, understand cybersecurity first, and then get into OT. If your uh, graduation may be into something like very close to OT, either instrumentation engineering or electronics and communication engineering, it would be easier for you to first understand the OT word and then get into the cybersecurity word. So yeah, the journey will start with first understand the system, get into the cybersecurity world, then get into some projects either through experimentation. If you are a student, you can take on some college project and then start. And there are n number of options. And there's one more post that I had posted a few months ago is the OT security career option. So you can choose which one you want to focus. If you are research oriented, then you can focus something related to the product security part. If you are having something like the assessment mindset, then you can either go into the penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, or maybe 62443 assessment as well. So yeah, so first identify your strength and then start with either cybersecurity first, then OT, or first OT, then cybersecurity.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. Yeah, I think you should follow and as much as possible learn because as a fresher you have more opportunity to learn and explore the different career opportunities in the beginning itself. So choose wisely and whichever interests you, and you should have that passion. It's not something about the hype that created. I have been observing people that OT security market has a very big future, that and even the pay package is really high. But don't think in that sense. I mean, you should definitely, yeah, that matters a lot, but as a student or as a fresher you should understand the basic. You make the strong foundation and then you jump into the career which you like.
Yeah. Maybe we should take the next one quickly. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a quick fan moment. Somebody's asking the question to me. So can you please share your thoughts on career opportunity for malware analysts in OT security? Yeah, definitely. So the roles of malware analyst typically goes into the incident management or maybe a researcher field. So definitely there are opportunities, and this is completely a niche cybersecurity area, highly respected. So you need to get into first understanding the malwares, and then you need to also understand the OT systems to have the ability to analyze what kind of malware are targeting the OT systems. So it's a very, very good career options, good career opportunities, specifically with big companies. You can target the OEMs, any of them like Siemens or maybe Schneider, ABB. All of them, they are having their own research groups, and under these research groups, roles like this are very prominent and they are highly paid as well. You want to add something, Manju, with your
Yeah.
BE, ABB,
Yes,
Schneider,
yes. No, even
Yokoga
the malware
experience?
analyst. Yeah, with that, and also recently, I have been interacting with more vendor-oriented solutions like Clarity, Nozomi. Even these people will be looking for some
Yes,
researchers who really need this
absolutely.
malware analyst. Maybe, yeah, that is also one of the option that you can go for it. Even Kaspersky has that. They have their own threat intelligence software, and where they hire malware analyst as well in this domain.
Yeah, and also the good thing is they have deep pockets. They are highly
Correct.
invested companies, so they would be able to pay. And I think this is Team 82 or something, which is part of Clarity's research group, who brings the vulnerabilities in the product, and these kind of roles will fit very well. Yeah, let's take the next one. It is from
Yeah.
Naveen. What is the role of data security in OT security? You want to take that, Manju?
Yeah, yeah. So if you say data security, when it comes to the OT environment, there are a lot of data available from your sensor to the up to data historian, and this is where the data historian contains a lot of data. We in OT world we call it as the tags, or maybe some plants might have 1 lakh IOs, right? and each and every IO points are really important in this domain, and you need to protect these data. So not only that, I mean, ultimately from wherever if you see, look at the OT security solution like Clarity, Nozomi, everyone focus on these asset and the data. So whenever we say, so this is where the data security comes in place, where you need to protect your data. Otherwise, if something leaks out, or it's not like IT data. I mean to say, these IO points are really important and had some value, because it directly, many a times, if you see the Purdue architecture, the data historian, all the data will be move out of from OT network to the IT network for the business purposes. I mean, the business wants to learn about what is happening with my all IO points, and because it directly impacts the production, and also if there is anything to be optimized, and these data becomes valid, very important. And it's not only about that, and even there will be some backup and recovery mechanism where this, if something goes wrong, even accidentally, you should have the proper procedure in place. So the role of data security also plays a major role in this. I mean, if you go back and learn about OT security incidents, I think protecting data also, they emphasize on this point. Would you
Yeah.
like to add?
So one is that perspective, and also I think the perspective of the compliance side is also important. Now the technologies of IT word is getting adopted to OT word as well. One of them is Active Directory domain control. That's where your credentials of the people will be there, right? So there may be a number of PII information that is lying with the Active Directory domain controller, and that's also one of the use case of securing the data which is there. And definitely all the sensors data, though we always say availability first, but what if the integrity of the data is not there? Your machine is available, but is it not doing the work which is supposed to do, because of the data which is needs is incorrect. So then data security is also very essential part of OT, but not at the level which is typically we see in the
Again,
IT side of the domain. So again, everything goes back to your risk assessment. You identify what are the risks, what is the data, what you need to protect, how you need to protect, how long you need to protect. Like there may be some of the sensor data that you are capturing for your environmental impact of your plant, and there is a compliance requirement. You need to show that data to different regulators, right? So security of the data is also important. What if your adversary spoofs that data and gives false data, and then you are in the category of maybe red list, and then the regulatory body decides to ban your organization? So again, it is important to monitor such data. And just giving a hypothetical situation just
yeah.
to simplify this, but yeah, these kind of data security requirements are there in the OT world as well.
Yes, sure. I think the next question is from Jagrat. That
Yeah. It's a big question.
yes.
Jakrit is asking, hello, I am an experienced industrial automation engineer and an ICS/OT cybersecurity enthusiast. I would really like to know how and where to get OT analyst certification. Your guidance means a lot to me. I am in my field, mostly IT engineers are allowed. I think there's still some text which is not showing here.
Yeah, yeah. So, as an automation engineer, the what should be the first certification after knowing the fundamentals of cybersecurity? See, there are two things. The If you are already a experienced automation engineer, you want to know how and where to get the analyst certification. So that depends on what kind of analyst you want to become. Like either you can choose a researcher, or as we already spoken about, you can join solution architect about this. There are a lot of certifications available, but if it is related to the certification, yeah, again, so Shiv would like to add few, since you have the IT background, kind of analyst, maybe you can add few points here.
Yeah, sorry, I just lost the track. I was just typing the questions, but maybe I'll quickly reread the question.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm an experienced industrial automation engineer and an ICSOT cybersecurity enthusiast. I would really like to know how and where to get OT analyst certification. Your guidance means a lot to me. Okay, so basically, I think the question is more into how to understand the operational technology part as such, not the cybersecurity part as such. If that's the question, then yeah. Uh, One of the good thing that you can refer is, I think Manju, you have shared some time back some simulated lab for
Loves,
understanding
yeah.
the ICS. Then there is one more ICS sim. Then there is one this another Grass Martin which is there, and I think I posted a list of resources which are available on a Git lab as well. Maybe when you answer next question, I'll put a link to that post. So there are n number of open source projects that are available, which will give you the understanding of the OT environment as such, but not the certification as such, which you are asking. There is no certification available. One good certification that is available from ISA is called Certified Automation Professional, CAP certification. So if you really want to go into the formal path, do that certification. The content is really good, and the good thing is, if you are able to read through the material and only want to appear for the exam, the cost is also less. It is somewhere around $400 or so. So yeah, you can do your CAP certification and then maybe get into the cybersecurity part of the work.
Yeah, I think he was also asking about the the cyber security analyst. That is what I said. I think from SANS there are a good number of trainings, and from also EC Council. I think I saw a few courses and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
certification available
They,
if they really want to become a cyber security leader. But ultimately, since you already had the automation background, I think the grid also might be one good you know course for this program. I mean for
yeah,
this
grid
certificate.
is bit advanced. It will require
Yeah, yeah.
understanding of
Of the cyber
cybersecurity.
security,
Maybe
correct.
GICSP is the good one to
Good
start.
one to start.
Uh,
Yeah.
and also, there is one more lighter version of the course which is from EC Council. It's about SCADA security. Recently, they have started this. Maybe that could also
Yeah,
be a
available. Yeah.
good certification.
I think the
Yeah.
next question, I think which of the certification, CompTIA or SANS? Okay, where I need to start for the first cybersecurity course. Yeah, maybe
What's that?
it depends on like what you want to learn. If it is for the OT cybersecurity, I think the Department of Homeland Security, it
Mm.
has a very good course. I think 12 modules you can really learn. Even YouTube is the best source if you want
Yeah,
to learn about
yeah,
the
yeah.
foundation.
YouTube is the best source, and then there are two certifications which are uh, either available freely or for very less cost. Recently, this ISC Square started this certification of
So,
cybersecurity (CC),
CC,
and
yeah.
then there is Google certification on cybersecurity, which is available on Coursera. So you can appear the course for free, and then you can just pay some fee and then get the certification done. So both of the certification are good to hold as a beginner level, but then, if you really want to understand the entire gamut of cybersecurity, then the CEH or the CompTIA Level 1 certification, I think Security Plus Plus is the certification. These are the beginner level certification that one should do when they are getting into the cybersecurity. But with EC Council certification, my experience, I will strongly recommend to do from the EC Council themselves, not to go to some third party training providers. If you are going there, then please check who is the tutor there and how long they are going to teach for the certification. That's very important for CEH certification and such.
Yes, I agree with you. I think next question also, I think it's similar
It
to
got
that. Which of
answered.
the yeah, it's already answered. And CompTIA would be better if you are learn and also have some budget issue.
Mhm.
Definitely CompTIA.
Yeah. Yeah, then there is a lengthy question. Hi, Manjunath and Shiv. Thanks for the session. Lengthy questions coming in. I'm a pen tester doing web, network, infra, mobile, and all. My long term goal is to becoming an OT security professional in 5 years, protecting critical infrastructure. Which current with the current offensive experience I have, I want to get into companies like ABB, Schneider, Honeywell, Emerson, sort of companies. At least Siemens is not there. Slowly learn about what's happening on other side and slowly transition into OT. Is this a good plan? So, if so, how should I start preparing and can you refer? Me, anything. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good plan to put up for 5 year duration. Yeah, and I think your first step is already taken, Revant. Yeah? I would strongly recommend that you go this path, and definitely you'll find something in these companies. There are roles that are coming, not only these companies, but also if you see the bigger projects that are happening in the Middle East. You take example of NEOM project that is happening there. They are having n number of security openings, and the target is till 2030. So you are assured that the jobs will be there not only till 2030, but even beyond that when the city are actually being run. Similar kind of projects are coming into other part of the world as well. So yeah, that's a good plan to have. Then there is another question from Sahim. As an PCS7 engineer, how do you recommend getting into ICS, ITOT security career? So one good thing that you can start is read PCS7 compendium, which is already giving you cybersecurity recommendations, and then you'll get to learn, okay, where should I start? But yeah, PCS7 is a process control system, and that's just one part of the OT world. You need to understand your SCADA systems as well, which is very similar to the DCS. But then, what are the areas of cybersecurity which are important? The three big pillars are people, process, and technology. But beyond that, there are requirements starting from the design phase to maybe development phase to the commissioning phase to the testing phase to the decommissioning phase, and number of requirements are there, and you need to understand as a cybersecurity professional at least a bit of all of them. If you are not focused on something as such, uh, then find your key focus area. Since you are very good with PCS7 engineering, so one good immediate thing that you can do is to understand the other cybersecurity products which are supplementing this DCS systems, and get an experience on commissioning those products. So it will be a good career starter for you. The market is very deficient with the people who understand PCS7 as well as commissioning an endpoint security system. You
Yeah,
want
I
to say
think.
something? Yeah.
Yeah, I think already as I explained, if you have already have a DCS background or instrumentation control system background, then definitely leverage the existing skill set. I mean, talk to people who are already working there. So then definitely I think that would be the easiest way, and get hands on because when you work on that, definitely it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vignesh. Yeah, I already read through his message here in the chat box. I think he was already having good experience in as a product security in ABB. So I feel that if you feel that it's costlier for you, you have enough certification on your bucket like CA Security Plus already you have done, and so if you ask me, if you are already from automation background, stick to it. And as a OT security engineer, there will be huge demand in the coming years, since already you are working as a product security engineer. And then if you really want to take a GICSP, take this exam, only the exam. I mean, you can challenge the exam that you don't want to go the formal training. I have recently posted that how to pass with the self study. You connect with me on LinkedIn. Maybe I would be happy to help you on this in this regard. Yeah.
Okay,
Next
good.
question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next question is from Abia. How to approach OEMs for collaboration and research purposes? Yeah, so one thing that you could do is find the relevant people on LinkedIn, maybe some head of the research group or somebody who is working in the research. Send your proposal to them, maybe quickly, a two-liner that, okay, this is the area that we want to collaborate. If there is a program running in the organization about collaboration, they should definitely get back to you. Uh, I'm not sure about other organization, but yeah, my organization typically has this open mindset about research collaboration. So maybe similar kind of options you might find with the other organizations as well.
Yeah. I think the next question is from Fanindra. What
Yeah.
are the market demanded certification program in cybersecurity with the optimal cost for 16x in controls and for in OT cyber? So as I said, currently, if you look at the core OT security, either GICSP grid or as ISA 62443, and also if you have already CISSP, that also might be considered if you look at the job description. If you have more than 16 years of experience, I think having CISSP will be definitely worth it, because even though you are showing that OT experience, and if you are already in doing something, either GICSP or CISSP would be best fit for you, as per this. Yeah.
I think there's a supplementary question that he asked. You have also
Yeah.
answered this about the CISA's free certification that are available. And then the labs, there are no pay-per-use labs available as such, though you can buy a one-year subscription from Pentester Academy for close to $250. It does not have OT security specific labs, but there are a good number of cybersecurity labs that you can experience. OT security as such labs are currently not available to my knowledge, which you can use as pay-per-use kind of model. There are some
Yeah.
simulation available on Git, so maybe you can
Yeah.
download those simulators, install by yourself, and then experiment. Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to add
and
something?
also yes, definitely. As an open source, I think GR Fix. There is a recently we have put a post on GR Fix, which is you get to download the free version of VMs, and also the one way is in the Control Things platform that is also available freely. You can just explore, and there are a good number of videos available on YouTube how to work with the Control Things platform, or even with the GR Fix. So at least you will get some hands on with it, but the best approach would be you create on your own by creating some with minimal price, the PLC you can purchase, or you can leverage the existing environment, your companies, you can just request them. So that's the best approach, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned about control things, I think it is the same course that is also taught as part of GICSP. So
Yeah.
going through that course would be really helpful.
Yes, helpful. Yes.
Maybe we have the last question for the day.
Yeah, Suman Mitra has asked question about EC Council or other organization which provides online certification are good enough to rely with, and can you mention some name? Yeah, definitely. The EC Council has ICS SCADA security. Recently, they have launched. I think from past 2 years, it's being done. And but if you look at the job description so far, what is your purpose? That you want to showcase that you have experience with this. So that really depends. But if you ask me, based on the job description, what I am seeing currently, and also I have interviewed many people. EC Council's ICS SCADA security as a course completion certificate you might get. It is not like CH. If you have CH from EC Council, still it is valid, or security plus from CompTIA. The people will consider that certification as well. And if you have GICSP or 62443, that is also valid, even CISSP. So if you ask me, yeah, that I think you have to consider GISSP would be better, I feel, or 62443. Yeah. I think there is a one last question, Shiv. I did.
Yeah, is it? I think we had covered all of them. Okay,
Uh,
I'm
Ashish has shared just now that
okay.
he did some from Coursera, joined Siemens earlier. Emerson with next certificate I need to do. I'm working in auto security field already. If you are working, then maybe GICSP or 62443 would add much more. Uh,
Yeah, but here I would like to add, Manju,
yes,
since he is
please.
already working with the OEM,
Yeah,
more, apart from the certification, he should first get into the OT security project as such, which will give more experience compared to the certification as such. If you are
exactly.
not getting the real experience, then certifications are
It
not
will
going to help. They
help.
will not give you the career growth that you're expecting immediately. So better you get into some real experience. Sometimes I get the opportunity to interview people which have who has done the certifications like 62443 as well, but some basic concept understanding is missing because of the obvious reasons of that they don't get to see the environment as such. So since you are in the good organization having the opportunity to experience the system, so get into the security aspect, connect with the people in your organization who are working on cybersecurity.
I think also he mentioned about that he's already working in this OT security field. So probably, I think if that is the case, as you said, if he doesn't have, then he should get some hands-on. If he is already working and talking to people, then maybe GICSP or 62443
Yeah,
or grid
yes,
would be a added value for his resume. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I think we have covered all the questions today,
Yes.
thankfully. and we are just few minutes past the 1 hour scheduled time. So at this juncture, I would like to thank all the people who joined. This was short notice. We just put the post in the morning, and this shows that yeah, the motivation that we have is the number of people who joins, and then the thumbs up that they give. I hope that we are able to help them in some way. Thanks, guys. Thank you again. Thank Manju to you as well for
Yeah.
joining today in the short notice. Yeah, I look forward to more such sessions. And if you have any suggestions and any topic that you want us to cover in the coming sessions, do let us know either through your comments or your direct messages to us, maybe on LinkedIn. We will be happy to take it up in the coming sessions. All right, then. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Have a good rest of your day and see you
Good
soon in the
night.
next other session.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, you.
Thank you.